Good afternoon, YouTube. It's your boy Zulu Gullah. Like, share, subscribe. Just dropping a little quick session. Um, as the title says, what black women can learn from Kim Kardashian, Monica, and Kiesha Dior, right? Um, we all got the recent news that Monica is teaming up with Kim Kardashian in order to make efforts to get C Murder out of jail. Um, Monica and C Murder obviously have either continued to be in contact or recently reconnected. We know of their past where, they were once dating. And of course, unfortunately, C Murder had caught the murder charge that he is currently serving the sentence for now. Now, I'm very familiar with the street life. I'm familiar with the likelihood of getting locked up and not only having that black love, but that street love, that where the possibility of jail can come into play, and the female, you know, given the option to ride it out, or live her life. Um, Now, first and foremost, I don't subscribe to the street life no more. Street life, jail, criminality, I don't subscribe to that, but I am familiar with it. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the trenches myself, got a background and past myself, so there's no shame in that. But I can relate to those circumstances, especially when you're dealing with love involved. But not necessarily using that as a template for black women to uh, being able to endure, because the streets is obsolete, crime is obsolete, jail's obsolete. That's just definitely a no-no. It's just a no-no. 2020, that's a no-no. So I get it. But I just come from a different era in time where, not to say that it's good, but it was happening. It wasn't normal as far as being okay or regular, but it was happening on a normal basis. So it's a reality. So let me clarify that. And a lot of women came accustomed to adapting to that or dealing with that, being involved with hood guys and street guys, dudes that were involved in criminality. Um, More so the hustler aspect than anything. But sometimes dudes did get into beef, whether it was a fight or it was a shooting. Dudes got into beef, and sometimes dudes caught murder raps. Um, so, but all that is obsolete, man. We got all these killings and everything going on in Chicago and New York, and it's the violence and stuff got to stop. So I just want to say that first and foremost, because I'm not advocating for none of that. I want all that stuff to go stop. It get down to some very minimal numbers. If it doesn't stop, I want that to decrease. So I'm for that. Um, but I just want to speak a little bit about that hood love, that street love, that black love in regards to Monica. I kind of want to associate it again also with the efforts Kim Kardashian has previously made, not just with teaming up with Monica, but what she's doing individually. And I want to mention Kiesha Dior for what she did for Gucci Man. I I'm giving this as a lesson to black women once I break it down to you, so you'll understand that you can work with a man. In some cases, very rare cases, I don't recommend it to all. You may be able to help build a man up, but you definitely can work with a man. Um, Now, I remember briefly that C Murder mentioned when he first got locked up on his charge, because he got locked up on his charge twice. Uh, I think he got locked up for a couple years or so when it first happened. He had a mistrial on the charge, got out, was out for a while, and then they retried him again, and then he's just been locked up for a long time ever since. but I briefly remember him mentioning that something about Monica not sticking by him or something in those earlier days or something like that. Now I'm gonna have to go back and check because I heard it from a song, and I think he generalized it. He didn't really name any names, but recently it seems like they reconnected or rekindled. They may have already been in contact. I'm not sure about that either. But then he gave a recent statement saying that, he told her to go ahead and go on and live her life. So his first mentioning of maybe her not sticking by him or keeping it real or whatever, maybe they got over that. I don't know. Maybe they got over it. I don't know. Who knows what the mistake was or what the lack thereof was? Who knows? Um, but it seems like they got past that because his recent statement, he he said that he did advise her to go live her life. So he came to terms with something. So maybe they left on good terms, ended on good terms, or had a good just some type of good term basis. But now I truly believe that deep down, regardless of the circumstances, that Monica was of a different breed. You know, we have black women of a different breed. They still exist. And you can tell Monica has that old school teaching and grooming from older generation black women. It came out of her songs. She's always been ladylike. She's never really been ratchet. So she's always gave good signs, good visuals, good displays of class. So I always viewed her different. I never really looked at her negative or anything like that. I never really scoffed at her. None of that, you know. So, and she's about my age, maybe a little older. She's about my age. So it doesn't somewhat surprise me that for the longest, she's probably always wanted to see murder first and always. It doesn't surprise me. Even though she had to go live her life. Like that happens in that street love uh that gets interrupted by jail and incarceration. That happens the circumstances split up a lot of relationships where people are really meant for each other. They just meet in the where the guy's out there doing his thing and he's a good guy, or he's just caught up, or he's angry about trying to get out of some circumstances that's really really his choice to go to that course of action to make a living for himself or a way out, which is unfortunate because there are better options, and sometimes guys just don't set themselves down and go over all their options and try to make an effort to exhaust all remedies before resorting to that course of action. I've been there and done that myself. So, I learned over time how to really look at uh, the array of choices that I have and select the best one before I go to the extreme. So, but, and I believe, I'm just not going to put this on Monica. I believe, wholeheartedly also that C Murder was meant for Monica, and deep down, he always wanted Monica first and last. So, let me clear that up too, because I'm not making this a gender war thing. But I do want the ladies to look at something that a lot of men talk about that y'all misunderstand. Y'all misunderstand the term ride or die, because I think K. Michelle literally took it literally like, I ain't dying for nobody. No, that's not what we mean. It's just another way. It's a metaphorical way, in other words, to say a vow that would be stated in wedding vows, like for better or for worse. Till death do us part. That's all it is. Nobody's telling you to go die. Nobody's telling you to risk your life. The man. Here's another thing about street love that y'all don't understand too. A lot of guys do what they do, and a lot of women that they're in relationships with, involved with, know what they do. But when the police do come knocking, the guy always takes the blame and the blunt because he is the actual one doing everything. And when the women are trying to include it, the guys make every effort, pretty much damn near in like 99, 98% of cases, to where the women never has to be blamed for anything or take fault or suffer any consequences. So we don't we do what we do because we make that decision, even though you may be out here living it up with us and you may know what we're engaging in. For the most part, the guys that I've seen and been around, they don't take their woman to jail with them. So, nobody wants you to die. Nobody's asking you to die. It's just a template or practice version of for better or for worse in a marriage vow. That's all. You know. And let me kind of explain that marriage vow too, because I don't want you to get that misconstrued either. It's not for self-inflicted things. Like if a guy's going out there, he commits a heinous crime, a murderous, violent sexual crime, or he's smoking crack, something like that, you have the right to bounce. Now, if a guy just hits hard times for something that is not his fault, he can't help, his company shuts down, he loses his job, you're supposed to stick by him and hold him down until he finds another source of income. I just want to give you that example of what for better or for worse means and what we mean by ride or die. Okay. So they really have a lifelong connection, C. Murder and Monica. And it's really it was really love that was established a long time ago that was deep rooted and timeless. And what black women can learn is like you can, like I said, you can help a man, you can work with a man, you can stick by a man. And also, like in some cases, like if the time is not right, if you do have to go live your life, and you go about it in a respectable way and on good terms, and time comes back around, that unconditional, long lasting love can come back into play and you can reconnect, or you could be accepted wholeheartedly or as you are for who you are. And it's not a problem. It's now I'm not talking about going out here and thotting it up, doing everything as much as you can, as early as you can, and discarding men. Uh, and when you go out there and do that, you actually do things to yourself, but then you tend to blame men later in life when you get in your mid-30s and 40s, when no guy wants to wife you up or take you serious. You've been with a lot of men already, especially if you're in an area where everybody knows you. So no guy wants to take on baggage or stuff of that nature. Like if you just go honestly live your life because time is not right, then things occur and you have to go do things, but you do things grown woman like in a respectable way, and the man knows who at that particular time the time wasn't right for him as well, or maybe he was at fault, or it's something that's more so his responsibility, but then the time comes back around and you can hash it out, rekindle it, resolve it, fix it, then I'm all for that. But it also says a lot about the type of characteristics, um, the true strength that the black woman has when you do things like what Monica's doing. She's going out of her way to do something that she's really passionate about, for something for somebody she really cares about. And I salute. That this is the type of woman that you defend and protect. And this is the type of woman that she may not be your wife, your relative or girlfriend or whatever, but if you see her in need of service, you give that woman some service. You respect that woman. and you help that woman get home to her family and her man. Because this is what black men will do for a woman like that. I will do it. I will salute, I will praise, and I will worship her, and I will not try to take her or be involved with her sexually or view her sexually. And I will make sure she makes it home safe. She makes it home, her and her kids make it home, whatever, you know. And I will salute her man, her husband, and I will shake his hand and let him know, man, he's always got an ally with me, you know, because everything surrounds her, you know, everything surrounds her. Okay. Now, shout out to Kim Kardashian, right? A lot of y'all criticize Kim Kardashian, you know, for not being black, and there's this competition amongst black women with women of other races and nationalities for black men. And something else you can learn from Kim K. Kim K has been getting guys out of prison. She's been using her influence and her power to get not necessarily just guys, but the majority of it is men that's in prison. She's been getting people out of prison, out of incarceration. Okay. And when the black women declared to separate themselves politically in the black community uh, for their own power and interest, they separated themselves from the black men and declared themselves leader of the black community, which I know was a mistake and was very disrespectful and very selfish. And it shows that for some reason, somewhere, at some point in time, black women have been harboring feelings against black men and been pointing a lot of blame and accusations against black men, which is absolutely not true. But yet you still want us to choose you first and marry you and take you serious, and especially dealing in these modern times with the many different movements you got involved in, and your different claims to fame and independence and earning, and it's just been a lot. But you forgot that you can't have this disdain or separation from us, or not respect us or view us a certain way, and still expect us to be with you, to develop successful relationships, marriage, and families and communities. It just doesn't work like that. You have to care. And Kim K and Monica have shown that they care about people overall. They care about men. They care about black men, and that they love black men, and that they're willing to help and do what is necessary to help black men, because they know they need black men. And the same goes for Kiesha Dior, who, you know, did what she did for Gucci Man, and Gucci Man held up his end of the bargain. They sat down, they went over how they could be together and what needed to be done in order to be together. And Gucci was in his time of need. Even though he was already famous and had plenty of money, he was still incarcerated. So he needs somebody to be there for him during his incarceration, for emotional, mental, uh, spiritual support, to help uplift him and to help give him motivation, to help him get a grip on life and get control of his mind and his mindset. And see, women have that power if you would really listen to the brothers when they tell you about that attitude, that lack of cooperation, not wanting to be submissive, not wanting to be supportive, the change in tone. You should never treat your boss or anybody in authority, regardless of whether it's authority or not, higher than your man, ever. And Gucci admitted to his issues. And a man will do that when a woman comes to him in fairness and correct and like I said, wholeheartedly. I'm gonna use that word wholeheartedly to show she really cares about this man, not using this man, not to come up off his man, not to be a succubus, not to be a leech. You know, Gucci said he had got rid of the drugs, the drinking, the smoking, the other women. You know, changed his attitude, got his temperament under control, and she rolled with him. Not only that, she helped him increase his bag and his brand, and he came home to a positive note, something that she said she would do for him. So, ladies, like, you can learn a lot. All you got to do is work with a man. That's all you got to do. You got to truly care about a man, like and love a man for who he is, not no superficial, materialistic, monetary, shallow, Jonesy financial things. You got to get to the core of the man first. And you got to get to the core of yourself first. What are you really made of? Are you made of good stuff? Culture, tradition, manners, home teachings, a desire to be a good person, a better person, a desire to be genuine, a person that can be in it for the long haul, not run. When things get hard, be willing to work hard, be willing to be patient. So you ladies can learn a lot. That's all it takes. All it takes is some dedication, some loyalty, some respect, respect at the top of the list, some nurturing and some care, doing some work. And you can get the results. You get nothing without hard work. The same way you worked hard to go get that college degree, you need to work hard with your man. You need to work hard for the man and with the man. You need to work hard to get the man. And that's all I got to say, man. Shout out to Kim K. Shout out to Monica. Shout out to Kiesha Dior. Shout out. And for all my brothers listening, we know not all women are bad. And we may not agree with everything about a woman. But when a woman is doing the work, when she's doing the goddamn work, you owe it to steward her across the street, to open the door for her, to make sure she gets home to her man and her family with no ill intent. You owe it. If she's doing the work, goddamn it, you owe it. And I respect it. And I'm out. I'm in on that note. Y'all have a great day. Like, share, subscribe. Zulu Gullah. And I see y'all around, man. Peace.